Cloudcast Media.
Drew Schlosberg, Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media, and we are so pleased to have in the studio with us longtime colleague, friend, absolutely prolific writer, UT columnist, everything in between, and that is Richard Lederer. How you doing, Richard?
I'm just doing great, living the life, doing what I love, loving what I do.
I think that's beautiful. I'm going to be joined by my co-host, Lindsay Belsky. She's a senior multimedia editor for the SDSU Daily Aztec, and you've been killing it as the co-host. Matter of fact, I think you're doing so good that we're going to have you take over the show. How's that?
Sounds good.
Okay.
I'm down. Tomorrow I'll start, okay?
You can start tomorrow even though we have no shows, but that's okay. Joined by my business partner and the CEO and founder of Cloudcast Media, Charles Parisi. And I will say this. We got the world's greatest punster in Richard Lederer, but no one is a better acronymist, and I made up that word, than Charles Parisi.
Acromaniac.
He is... there is not an acronym that gets away from him. So if he were to write a book on acronyms, am I right or wrong, Charles?
I live by acronyms, 100%.
I know you do, in this aspect of it. So
Acro is high, and then nim is name or word. So it's the high name. You're taking those key letters.
Right, exactly. Well, he's an acronymist.
Exactly.
I made up a word, and that's all there is. In the Drew Schlosberg Dictionary of Life, it's in there. Charles, we're going to start with you to have Richard ask Richard a question.
Well, listen, first of all, Richard, thank you for coming back into the studio. You've been on a few of our shows now.
Quite a number.
And it's just absolutely special to be with you because Drew and I were involved in a conference yesterday, so I'd love to get his take on this right away.
Please.
Because we were doing a conference yesterday talking about sustainable this, sustainable that. I think the number one thing we need to be focused on is something called sustainable humans. And keeping the human and the humanistic approach to technology and AI, and everyone's talking about AI. And one of the things I mentioned, Daniela Amodei, who's the co-founder of Anthropic, she doesn't get as much publicity as her brother, unfortunately. By the way, she's half Italian, half Jewish.
What a combo.
And she primarily wants to hire humanities majors at Anthropic, which is the company that built Claude, probably one of the best AI platforms in the world. What are your thoughts on technology and keeping the humans in humanity?
They must be kept in technology and in humanity. And I myself, in my writing, I very seldom consult AI. I want to keep the humanity in. And we have to have the guardrails for that. But I think, Socrates way back, he never wrote anything down. And in the dialogues, the Socratic dialogues, he wrote in Phaedrus against writing because he felt it would destroy men's, as he said, memories in their minds. But look what writing has given us.
In fact, wasn't it one of his students that did the writing?
Plato. Mm-hmm. Or is that Pluto, Mickey Mouse's dog? No, it's Plato.
It's Plato.
Or is it Play-Doh?
I was just going to say.
It's Plato.
So it was Lindsay, it was so brilliant what Socrates was talking about, but he didn't write it down. It was one of his students said, we have to write it down.
Right.
We've got to
Really?
capture this.
The same thing with the Iliad and so on. They were not written; they were oral, and and that ultimately they were written. Yeah.
Well, and Drew and Lindsay, I feel bad that I've been talking nonstop. I didn't let you squeeze a question here for Richard because this is really special for you.
Yeah.
This is a world icon when it comes to words. But he mentioned, the Iliad, oral, lyrical, and that's why I think podcasting has become the number one medium on the planet. We've essentially gone back to where we all started. We're just talking. We're listening to each other. And that's how everything started, whether it's cultural transference, knowledge transference, even directions. It was all with humans talking to each other. Any thoughts on that, Richard?
Well, I believe in the oral tradition. I read every word that I write out loud. That would be one of my advices to writing. I want to hear the music that I think my readers are going to hear, and B, it helps you to proofread, because if you just look, you think it's there and you've misspelled it. You just don't see it. But when you read it aloud, then you see it there and can correct it.
It really does, yeah.
How many books have you written?
65 stopped me before I write again, and I'm getting better at it.
65.
And knocking at the door of 88. Just came off the pickleball court today, and
Just a number, Richard. Just a number. I'm going to go with that till I turn 88, which will be around the corner in about 18 years.
Hey, Lindsay, he just mentioned something. So listening is the art of actually communicating. As you know,
Yes.
you're a brilliant student at San Diego State, your senior year. He just said something that I think should be the title of his next book. I'm going to bounce it off of him and see what you think, too.
Mm-hmm.
Stop me before I write another book.
Oh,
Richard,
my
before I write again,
stop me before I write again. Richard, what would that book be about if that were the
it's
title?
going to be my 66th, and it would be probably I Write Therefore I Am, to take off from Rene Descartes, meaning it's who I am. Long ago, I blew up the distance between who I am and what I do. I was editor-in-chief of my junior high school literary magazine, my high school newspapers. Of course, dinosaurs kept trampling on them then. And it's just been words, words, words.
Yeah.
If you love what you do what you love. You never work a day in your life. And rare for an English major to be able to monetize that, because you know the difference between a bird and a graduated English major. A bird can make a deposit on an automobile, but an English major can't. But I do.
But now Daniela Amadei,
Yeah.
UC Santa Cruz, BA in English literature, and she wants to hire English lit and humanity and philosophy folks, because she says that's the part that they need in AI.
Yeah, well, there's no question about that. And we heard that at the conference that Charles was talking about, Richard, very honored to be the chair of it. It was the Classroom of the Future Foundation's 9th annual College and Career Pathways Summit. Charles and his colleague, Leangela Brady, who was a hoot. You'd love Leangela. She's the superintendent of the National School District. Did one on AI. What was the title of your presentation? 'Cause I thought it was a great title.
Well, I'm gonna go all the way back to Lindsay. Have you ever heard of a early pioneer in the rap genre called MC Hammer?
Oh, of course.
Okay,
She's not a hayseed.
He had a song called
course.
"You Can't Touch
You
This."
can't, yeah, of course.
Oh, my God. That
So
Oh my God.
the theme of our presentation yesterday was AI can't touch this,
Oh, I like that.
and
I like that.
we had T-shirts made too, Richard, that said AI can't touch this.
I think
good.
the bigger threat
true.
is artificial stupidity myself.
Yeah.
But there.
I did want to ask you kind of how did you find your voice in your writing? And that would be super interesting if your book was even about that, how you found your voice and what really makes you you in your writing.
The great American tradition is often newspaper writing first, and that's what I did. Mark Twain, most responsible for the American voice in literature, as distinct from British English in American work. And also Ernest Hemingway, a very strong.
Yeah.
Both started in newspapers. And I just said, this is me. Although I entered college as a pre-med, went to Harvard Law School, and I just said.
You did? Wow.
I did. And I just said, this is not who I am.
You tried a bunch of things and
then it became an English teacher and a writer. And if in the Union-Tribune, every column is different. Mm-hmm. So, for example, the one coming up tomorrow, at least in this broadcast, is going to be on dangling modifiers, trying to avoid them. And the next one will be lines, because it'll be the Academy Awards and Oscars. So that one's going to be on movie lines.
All right.
And can you identify them? And it's just fun. The whole range is what I love.
All right, we're going to be chatting more with Richard Lederer, with my co-host Lindsay Belsky. She's a senior multimedia editor for SDSU's Daily Aztec, and Charles Parisi, my business partner and the founder and CEO of Cloudcast Media. Richard, I've read your books, not all. How many? 65. 65. 65 of them. But the first one I read, at least, is used the term the Pulitzer Prize.
Yes.
Which is really near and dear to my heart, and it should be with Lindsay's too, because it dealt with the Pulitzer Prize. But what Richard did, and he'll probably clarify this better than I'm going to say now, collected different things from teachers or people, the kids that said different things. Right. And the kids didn't understand that it's not Pulitzer Prize, it's the Pulitzer Prize.
Right. Pulitzer Prize, yes. Right.
Exactly. Well, Joseph Pulitzer, St. Louis Post-Dispatch, I'm a former journalist, yada, yada, yada.
And thank you for pronouncing it correctly. A lot of people say Pulitzer,
it's hard
but
to
it's
say.
Pulitzer.
I'm a journalist, okay?
Yes.
You know, that's one of the very few things I learned in life over here, as from my Daily Aztec days. And now Lindsay's doing 75 years after I was writing for the Daily Aztec on that.
It's crazy how long it's been around.
So, Charles, I know you have some more questions for Richard.
Well, I'll tell you. First of all, I loved your question. When did he find his voice? How did he find his voice? I got a question for you, Richard.
Okay.
Greatest piece of work you've ever read? Not yours. What was your all-time favorite? Number one. You got to pick one.
Of course. The works of Shakespeare, and among them Hamlet, it was his favorite. He kept going back to rewriting to the point of 4 hours, which it's seldom they actually do all four. But Hamlet, I think you have to understand, Shakespeare kind of invented modern English and broke all the rules in playwriting. Mm-hmm. So it is definitely Shakespeare that is the one who inspires me, literally breathes in. It means inspire, to breathe into.
You have a favorite, Lindsay? All-time favorite book?
I don't know. I just actually watched the movie for it, but Wuthering Heights.
Oh.
I read that from a while ago, but I just saw the movie was not a depiction of the book.
Right.
I think the book was a lot better.
Did you like the movie, though?
I did. I liked it, but it was very Hollywoodified, you know?
Yeah.
But I enjoyed it. But I love, like, fantasy romance kind of books.
You know, like my daughter does the same genre of book. She reads
Really?
50 books a year.
Oh, that's amazing.
Oh,
I don't do that.
And
but
she will live longer. Every study
And she's a
shows
lawyer.
that. Actually reading books.
Well, so I'm going to jump on this Wuthering Heights here. So we were just having a conversation, my daughter, Sammy, and Jane, about Wuthering Heights. And so I'm a former journalist who doesn't read, okay? And they always go, how do you even get it? I'm a past president of the Greater San Diego Reading Association. But I read sports stuff and all that, read sports books and all that. But just saw Wuthering Heights. And Sammy, my daughter, fourth grade teacher in Poway Unified School District, loves to read. And so she was comparing, Dad, of course, you didn't read Wuthering Heights because you haven't read anything, for God's sake. Well, how was it like the movie? I like the movie at all. So she's explaining the plot to it and stuff. Very, very interesting. I'll leave it at that. When we come back, we're going to chat more with Richard Lederer, author of 65 books. He is, in his mind, the greatest 88-year-old pickleball player sitting in the studio today.
A legend.
Wearing the coolest shirt.
A legend in my own mind.
In your mind. Joined by Charles Parisi, my business partner and the founder and CEO of Cloudcast Media, and Lindsay Belsky, senior multimedia editor for the San Diego State University's Daily Aztec. We'll be right back after this short break.
When you do your banking with Mission Fed, you get great rates on auto and home loans. That's good for you, but something good also happens for a lot of other people. We're not for profit, so we put money back into the community to help lots of great nonprofits to keep San Diego strong. So you're not just getting something good, you're doing something good. Come to Mission Fed. It's banking that's good for all.
Brand amplification is the DNA of Cloudcast Media, and our code is the powerful blending of sound, voice, and storytelling to lift local brands and their communities. Whether it is our Brandcast, Schoolcast, or Causecast platforms, the unifying ethos is all about this community. the one you call home. If you dare to dream and want to explore the brand amplification of Cloudcast, a national leader in local podcasting and other Winfluence strategies, please visit us at cloudcast.us.
I'm Drew Schlosberg, Cloudcast Media, listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, the nation's longest-running community podcast in our 20th year, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union. 60 years of doing great things for folks in San Diego County. Joined by my co-host, Lindsay Belsky, senior multimedia editor for the SDSU Daily Aztec, and Charles Parisi. He is the founder and CEO of Cloudcast Media, joined by prolific author and UT columnist Richard Lederer. How you doing there, Richard? Good? You enjoying the podcast?
Yeah, you want to do good and do well at the same time.
Yeah, well, so tell me what you're up to. You talked about your columns. What else are you up to?
Well, as I say, 14th year with the Union-Tribune, also founding co-host of A Way with Words on public radio. They hired me because I have the perfect face for radio, so I didn't even have to
podcasting
interview.
too.
You have a good voice too.
For this age, it's not falling apart. It's now globally in 300 outlets, so that's a wonderful legacy. But if I could just mention one thing.
Please.
It's supporting local theater, and that is on March 14th and 15th, 2 p.m. That's a Saturday and a Sunday. I'm going to be presenting Just for the Pun of It. And that you'll notice there are two puns in that, Just for Just and Pun for Fun. And that's going to be at the Trinity Theater in Mission Valley. And let me just see if I have it down here somewhere quickly. So it's Trinity and then TTC for meaning the Trinity Theater at .org.
So you don't know this, but they're a frequent guest on our show.
Oh, my God.
We have them all, Sean Boyd.
Oh, absolutely.
On all the time.
Good.
They
Well,
must have, but probably, 10 times, you think, in the last 2 years?
Yeah, but they never mentioned Richard.
They didn't want to mention Richard, okay, on this over here. They're wonderful folks.
They are, and I can feel it, and it's another great adventure.
Yeah.
You know, I really, and many, many more. Oasis, incredible here, senior learning, because we are a new generation, us old folks. And
Richard, let me just tell you, I'm on the Oasis Advisory Board.
They can't get away from it. Do you know that I am the senior instructor there? When Simone and I, my wife, arrived here in 97, within weeks they grabbed me up at the old, again, in Mission Valley, Robinson's May, and I've been teaching a class every month since then. Add that up and you see what number you get.
So Simona was at our summit yesterday and wanted to know why you weren't there. And I said, it's very simple. She wasn't invited. So Simona is very close to us also.
Yeah, when I said Simone, that was my wife, not that Simone, but incredible.
Yeah.
Because the Mission Valley thing, closed when it was a free third floor,
Right.
parking, central. And then along came Westview, and that was the end of that. I said, well, that was fun.
Yeah.
And then Simone comes and establishes these two temples of knowledge, and it's amazing.
So let me ask you this. You are vibrant, still writing books. You're going to do number 66. You like sports, right?
Love them.
How much do you know about Bill Walton?
A fair amount, of course, local, and a great fan of rock and one of the greatest centers ever.
Okay, because following your interview here, we're going to have a special edition with these gentlemen that are in the studio called Remembering Bill Walton.
I saw that.
Exactly over here. You're more than welcome to listen in. You can even throw in some, basketball quotes or whatever the case may be if you're interested. Talk a little bit about you love to do this. Chat about what you're doing. Talk about Trinity Theater, but you're also open if people want you to speak at different community events, correct?
Absolutely. I average more than 100 a year, and some of the ones I really value are the opportunity to fail. That's a great part of what I do. Mm-hmm. They seldom do, but when they do, you just try to learn from it. And I do a number of retirement homes. understand this just very quickly. I was born in 1938. In 1935, under the FDR administration, in came Social Security. 90 years ago. In those 90 years, to me, the most impressive upward swing of my life is longevity. And what I mean is we've gained 17 years in those 90 years. Medical knowledge doubles every 12 years. And actually, I'm living proof. I have a pacemaker, seriously. I have a double valve, mitral valve, double clip. My father died at 59 when I was a young teenager. He was born in 1894, and I think he had the same stuff and they didn't have a clue. And now they do. So here I am.
Well, whatever you're doing is working because you look great.
I'm a drop in the evolutionary ocean, and I want my being here to make some small difference. And when it's time for me to go, I want to be worn out. Worn out.
Well, you got to wait till that. You got to, you got to wait. So, how do people get a hold of you? Is there a website? Is there an email?
There is.
Yes, please tell me what it is.
Verbivore.com.
Okay.
And it's a pretty good website. So that's Word Eater, VERBIVORE. My email is richardhlederer@gmail.com. I'd love them to get a hold of me. So here I'm doing this today, and tonight I'm teaching poker at one of the synagogues. It's a typical day for me.
What's your favorite poker game?
Texas Hold'em, no
Me
question.
too. Best one.
Well,
Right.
you don't know this. You don't know this, Lindsay, about Richard. I'm going to say this because we believe he is the only father in the world with 2 kids that have won the World Series of Poker. Father,
Both of your
son,
kids?
and
I
daughter.
am the most successful breeder of world-class poker players in history, but you're too young to probably know Annie Duke and Howard Lederer. They're my son and my daughter. I taught them. They won $11.5 million. And one of my
Binions?
Howard the Professor.
no, at
Teach
the
me.
tournaments. No, just in their life. I mean, all sorts.
Well, doesn't Binions used to host the?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I have one of the trophies, and it's got the Binions horseshoe on it. One of my favorite puns that slightly related. Do you know why how marriage is like a deck of cards? This is going to be 5 puns in a row, homographic, meaning no change. How is marriage like a deck of cards? You start off with 2 hearts and a diamond. See, no change in spelling. Pretty soon you want to grab a club and use a spade to bury the joker. That's 5 in a row. And I'm seeing the laughter
come up
because
with
because it's
Like what?
because it's they dance in front of me, the words.
I love it.
all
I
the
love it.
time, and I love it.
It's in his head. It's in his mind, and you can't argue it. Tell me the book that you have right in front of you right now. It's in the studio. What's the name
Thank
of it?
you so much. American History for Everyone. This is the 250th celebration of our national birth certificate and our mission statement. And so I'm devoting half my columns in the paper to history. And this book, American History for Everyone, it's on my website. And by the way, published locally, Waterside Productions up in Cardiff. It's the usual suspects: Betsy Ross, George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, Declaration of Independence, Constitution, Gettysburg Address, but woven into the great tapestry and adventure, the American adventure, more XX chromosome people, more brown and black people, and more indigenous people. For example, with indigenous, the influence of the Iroquois Federation of Laws on the Constitution is stunning, and hardly anybody knows about it. And also the influence on our language, huge, and it's all in the book, American History for Everyone.
How'd they get it? Amazon?
Or no, they can order, sure, Amazon, but if they want it signed and inscribed, they just go to my website and order it for me with PayPal, and I send it out and inscribe. And so I love signing and inscribing. It means more to the recipient, and with the dedication, they can't give it away to someone else.
Well, I think that's a great comment. Charles, any final comments for Richard?
We heard about his favorite book of all time, Hamlet. Okay, one word. What's your favorite all time best word? You got to pick one word.
No, I can't pick one, but I will say my favorite check is in the mail. Those are my favorite words.
Yeah.
Okay, very, very good. Richard, it's always a delight. We know this will not be certainly even close to the last time we'll have you on. And Lindsay, do you have any? You're a journalist. Do you have any questions for Richard?
Yeah, as somebody that's coming out of college, I'm a senior right now. What would you do if you were right now in our day and age and you wanted to go, I want to go into broadcast journalism, but something just in general? What's your biggest piece of advice for somebody at my age?
Well, try to do what you were put on this planet to do, which is going to be journalism, and put a lot of drive behind it. Believe in yourself. And you lose all the points in life you don't play. Knock and it shall be opened unto you.
Yeah, I think
All
it's
of
easy
that.
to get like imposter syndrome and doubt yourself when you're like in this weird transition.
I try to avoid it, and I know just what you mean.
Yeah.
But you deserve this, and you've worked hard for it. So you're not an imposter. You're the real thing.
Thanks for that. Everybody listening that's in college, listen to that, because I know everybody feels that way.
Richard, always good seeing you, my good friend. And thanks for everything you do. Thanks for your support of the San Diego Council on Literacy. That's near and dear to Charles Parisi's my heart. And we will look forward to having you back on sometime down the road.
Lindsay, luck is the convergence of hard work and opportunity. You need both.
I got it.
Very good.
Thank you.
I've been listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show. We are the nation's longest running community podcast in our 20th year, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union. 60 years of doing great things in the community. And to our listeners, we hope you enjoyed the interview.
You've been listening to an episode of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego community. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.